All right. So, I've been putting this off for days now, and a dear friend of mine, childhood friend of mine, posted to my Facebook page on Sunday, and it was very simple. Mary is has been a friend of mine since St. Raphael's Elementary School, all through high school, and then reconnected on Facebook since then. And she posted a comment to one of my posts, and she said, and in fact, the post was not about my post was not about the attempt on President Donald Trump's life. It was a different post altogether. And Mary posted a comment to that post and said, "Mike, you've been conspicuously quiet about this, and it was kind of unlike me. So um, I have been. I absolutely have been, and I just don't think I can stay quiet anymore. All right, for what it's worth, for whoever hears this. But here's my take on this. All right, and as I'm sitting here thinking about this on the drive in here to the gym today, I'm going over and over in my mind the things I'm not going to address. Right, like I'm not going to address the absolute poor poor coverage, poor reaction time, poor response. I always try to make it a point to not criticize things that I know nothing about. Right? The older you get, well, you should do that all the time, but the older you get, you should really make it a point to stay in your lane. Um, some of you know, some of you don't, but close protection was one of the things that I did for a living from the minute I left the Navy, active duty Navy in the mid '90s. From the minute I left there, I did close protection. Most recently, in the most non-permissive environments in the world. All right, the reaction time of the Secret Service was pitiful. It was absolutely pitiful. Right, augmenting as they always do with state and local authorities. That's a manpower issue. There's nothing unusual about that, but the lack of communication, the miscommunications. You have an exposed gunman on a rooftop, less than 150. Was it 150 meters? Yeah, it was like 425. Yes. So you do not have to be a marksman to make that shot. You don't. All right. This young man, this shooter, things are coming up now. There's a lot of speculation between Saturday and now, but again, hate to say I thought so, I knew it, I told you so. I don't mean it like that, but I looked at this boy the first time they posted his picture, and I was like, all right, my knee-jerk reflex is this kid has probably had it rough, you know, probably had it rough. And now the most recent reports are saying that he didn't have it easy in school. He was bullied. He was picked on. You know what? Let's put a pin in that for a moment, because I've always believed, as the countermeasure to that type of threat, it's background. It's a threat's been made. You look into the background. You can kind of connect the dots and maybe predict a pattern. But in this case, this young man was bullied. He was a young man, relatively, recently out of school, and that's another issue. As hence the put a pin in it, the absolute total failure of our school systems, right? Oh, this is a bully-free zone. Let's cut the shit, okay? Here's the deal. Bully-free zones, gun-free zones, the power of a sign, right? I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because it's tragic. Well, we don't tolerate bullying. That's an automatic suspension. And yet, you still have bullies. Maybe the solution is to embrace the truth that sometimes it's all right to punch a bully in the face, right? Sometimes it might stem the flow right there, all right? But you got to engage. You've got to be the type of superintendent, principal, uh, administrator in a school district that is going to have the sack to say, all right, you know what, it stops now. It stops now. A couple of guys throw punches. Back in my day, I don't remember a fight escalating beyond punches. I don't. And maybe there's something to that. Maybe there's something to that is you clear the air. You clear the air with, by throwing hands, and then you don't have some ass bag go home, got the other guy got the best of him, so he goes home and comes back and shoots the place up and hits everybody except his intended target. I mean, I think that's a big piece of it, but I digress. All right, I digress. That's, that young man is dead, and shame on everyone in his past who saw this thing coming. The superintendents that put it on the principals that stuck up a couple more fucking signs that said, bully-free zone, and maybe even a few counselors or administrators in there who, sat down with a finger wave and an admonishment for bullying. All right, the young man's dead. And listen, just so we're straight on this, not a fan of him. Not a fan, all right? But what drove him to that, I think, is indicative of another larger, more sinister problem, and that is the total and complete failure of our school systems. We need to fix this shit yesterday. But now more to the point, and this is what kept me quiet. All right, this is what really kept me quiet. Excuse me. So I'm trying to wrap my head around this, all right? Within, hours after the attempt on President Trump, people are popping off on social media. Things to the effect, well, don't look at me. I wasn't in Butler. LOL. And they think that shit's funny, all right? They think it's funny. How about this? Maybe you're a public figure of some sort. Maybe you have a position on some type of town council, city council, some kind of bullshit, and you throw out a comment like that on social media, right? People have lost their jobs for things like that because guess what? It was not just an attempt on a former president of the United States. Like him or don't like him. Vote for him, don't vote for him. That man is still a former president of the United States. As any human being, you by that logic, are you saying that somebody deserves to be assassinated, deserves to be killed? Don't get me started on that because you can go down different roads, and sometimes the way to end a longer, more protracted war might be with the elimination of strategic, surgical elimination of leadership. This was none of that. It was none of it. And for a civilian to pop off, don't look at me, LOL, I wasn't there, LOL. This is the same type of person, mind you, the same type of person that after Joe Biden wins the election, goes on social media, posts the names and businesses of people who supported Donald Trump in the election, and puts out this, let's cancel their businesses, don't shop there, this kind of thing, all right? What kind of twisted asshole does that? This kind right here, okay? So this is a post that I took from a friend's Facebook, and simply put, okay, this was a screenshot that a friend of mine shared, and this clown's name is Tom Carriveau, Carriveau, Tom Caribou, right? Explorer Charters and Cruise Lines in Michigan, all right? So now you Google that now, Explorer Charters and Cruise Lines. There's a little red bar across the search page that says permanently closed. Well, it seems old Tom ran his cake hole, all right? And he posted, damn, bad shot, would have done the world a service. And then some other schmuck posts to that comment, haha, we should watched, I'm reading this as it's written, so imagine the gray matter capacity here in this individual. We should watched his fickin', F-I-C-K-I-N-G, fickin' brains blown away. If there were such a thing as the grammar police, this guy would be under the jail. All right? So stupid is as stupid does. But you got old Tom Caraval up there in Michigan somewhere. Damn bad shot, would have done the world a service. You know, Tom, not really sure what to say to you other than you get what's coming to you. You do. All right? And the little mental midget there that commented to you, I'm not even sure what he was trying to say, but flicking brains, you know, blah, blah, whatever, man. Listen, here's the thing. I got a picture of Dash 2 as some, like, maybe 30, 40 something, you know, eats his own boogers, lives in his mom's basement, and yells up the steps every so often, "Mom, meatloaf, now!" You know, picture that in your mind's eye, okay? Or don't. Kind of on a rant right now, but this is how despicable this is, okay? You got all the mixtures of pure hate, okay? An attempt was made on a former American president. That should bother you to your very core. And it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. An attempt was made on an American president. If that doesn't upset you, maybe you need to relocate. All right? Because that is what separates us from a third world banana republic. That. We are so far down the rabbit hole right now, it's frightening. It really, really is frightening. Then you got these little wackos talking about, you know, Civil War this and Civil War that. Well, you know, again, I paraphrase Rogan because I won't do it justice, but Andy Stump and Joe Rogan on a podcast together, and, you know, the question was asked, you know, you got all these people talking Civil War like it's a cool thing, right? Not a caption like everybody wants to be a gangster till it's time to do gangster shit, right? Yeah, that's exactly right. Not for nothing, but I remember one time at a certain stage of my life, I had a position, and I'm told that there's a guy in the neighborhood, and, oh yeah, man, watch out for this guy. You know, he still hangs on the corner, but you know, now, you know, he's been shot so many times. Now he wears a bulletproof vest. I'm like, okay, and not my problem. It's not my responsibility. But if it ever came to that, the fuck makes you think I'd be shooting for his vest? Right? I mean, anyway, I'm kind of off my point here. But one, I did not comment because, you know, my dear friend Mary, that's why I didn't comment. Right? I didn't comment because I didn't know where to start with all of this, and I'm not sure that I did it justice. You know, I'm really not. But I mean, this thing has so many offshoots. All right, first, the U.S. Secret Service. All right, anybody can take a shot at the president. I mean, that's a fact. But the way this thing was laid out, what appeared to be total lack of proper preparation, what appeared to be I'm sure every one of those agents received training, right? But it's unfortunate and amazing at the same time. If you watch some of the recent videos that have been put out, there is one young lady in that protective detail who pulls her pistol like she's not sure why she's doing it. She starts to turn left, turn right, turn around, 180, 360, 270, flagging people as she goes. And then it appeared to me that maybe she either thought about it or somebody told her, hey, you know, holster your weapon, right? And at least she, you know, kept her eyes on the horizon, but couldn't find her holster, right? So she's I'm like, well, I know it's there somewhere. You know, it can happen to anybody, but when that is your life, that's somebody else's life that you're responsible for. You need to be able to find that in the dark, underwater, upside down, literally vehicle rollover. You're stuck upside down in the seat because your seat belt's still on, and you need to be able to find all your gear from that position in the dark, underwater. I mean, that's what you do. That's what you do. Or did you maybe get your job because, right? A lot of that happens, right? You get the best person for the job? No, not always. But sometimes that's just how it is. So anyway, listen, apologies for the run on. Didn't mean to go that far, but that is how it is. And it's an absolute shame because there's a young man from the area, Corey Comparatore, right? Paisan, our thoughts and prayers are with you. Now here's a father who will never see his children again, who will never see his wife again. He's a husband, he's a father, he's a son, he's a good friend, right? And when the shit hit the fan, this guy was one of the only ones that didn't seem to have his phone out. Oh, it's happening. This will make a good TikTok, right? Or just running after his tail, right? He put his people on the ground, covered them with his own body, and died because of it. All right. So, yeah. All right, brother. Rest in peace. And the rest of you got a vote coming up, right? Got a vote coming up. Need to fix this shit now. All right, Mary? A little bit longer answer than you may have anticipated, but thank you for asking. All right, I'm out.